Gentlemen, if you are over 50, listen carefully. If your penis gets hard but loses its strength too fast, you're not alone. And in almost every case, it's not your testosterone. It's not your blood flow. It's not even your age. It's a simple mistake men make without even realizing it. A mistake that costs you your hardness in the middle of intimacy, right when it matters most. I'm about to show you exactly what that mistake is, why it happens after 50, and how to fix it in less than 30 seconds. But you need to stay with me until the end. Because if you miss the activation technique I'm going to share, nothing else will work. So don't skip ahead. Every piece of this matters. I am Dr. Mika Hayashi. I'm a board-certified urologist, and I've been practicing for over a decade. In my practice, I've helped thousands of men restore their confidence and their intimate lives. And here's something that might surprise you. 67% of men over 50 experience exactly what you're going through, but less than 10% actually know the real cause. Your body isn't giving up on you, it just needs the right activation. And by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly how to do it. Before we go any further, if you want practical science-backed solutions for men's health, drop a comment right now. Just type "staying hard" if this resonates with you. Let's break the silence on this together because you are not alone. All right, let me walk you through what's actually happening in your body, because once you understand the mechanics, the solution is going to make perfect sense. When you get an erection, your body goes through a two-stage process. 2 stages. Most men only think about stage 1, but it's stage 2 where everything falls apart. Stage 1 is the fill. When you get aroused, your brain sends a signal that releases a molecule called nitric oxide. This causes the blood vessels in your penis to relax and dilate. They open wide. Blood rushes into the spongy tissue inside your penis, specifically into 2 chambers called the corpora cavernosa. Think of it like inflating a tire. Blood flows in, the tissue expands, and you get hard. That's stage 1. And for most men over 50, stage 1 still works just fine. You can still get hard. But stage 2, this is where the problem happens. Getting blood to flow in isn't enough. That blood also needs to be trapped inside. It needs to be locked in. Otherwise, it just leaks back out as quickly as it came in. This is where your support muscles come in. At the base of your penis, you have specialized muscles called the isocvernosus and bulbospongiosus muscles. These muscles act like clamps. When they contract properly, they compress the veins that normally drain blood away from your penis. They literally squeeze those veins shut. When this happens, blood gets trapped inside. The pressure stays high and your erection stays firm. Think of it like a water balloon. Water flows in. That's the blood filling your penis. But if you don't tie a knot at the end, what happens? The water just leaks right back out. Your support muscles are that knot. And right now, they're not tying. Here's what happens after 50. And this is completely normal, by the way. Those support muscles naturally lose tone. They lose strength. In your 20s and 30s, these muscles were strong and responsive. They contracted automatically during arousal. You never had to think about them. They just worked. But after 50, they become sluggish. They don't engage as quickly or as powerfully. And unless you deliberately activate them, they often don't engage at all. Studies show that pelvic floor muscle strength decreases by about 15 to 20% per decade after the age of 40. That's significant. And when those muscles don't contract properly, blood flows into your penis beautifully during arousal, but it also leaks back out through the veins because there's nothing holding it in. So you get hard initially, but you can't maintain the pressure. Within a minute or 2, your erection softens. And here's the critical distinction I need you to understand. This isn't erectile dysfunction in the traditional sense. You're not struggling to get hard. You're struggling to stay hard. Your problem isn't erectile dysfunction. It's erectile maintenance. And that requires a completely different solution. Let me ask you a few questions. Be honest with yourself. Do you get hard initially but lose firmness within 1 to 3 minutes? Do you need constant stimulation to stay hard the moment stimulation stops? Does your erection start fading? Does your erection fade when you change positions during intimacy? Do you lose your hardness if there's any interruption? For example, if you have to stop to put on a condom or if your focus shifts even slightly. Are your morning erections weaker or less frequent than they used to be? If you answered yes to 2 or more of these questions, this is 100% your issue. Your support muscles aren't activating properly. Now let me explain why the common solutions you've probably tried haven't worked. Viagra and Cialis. These medications are excellent at helping blood flow into your penis. They work by enhancing nitric oxide and keeping blood vessels dilated. But here's what they don't do. they don't help your muscles trap that blood. That's why some men find that these pills work great for a while and then they seem to stop working. The pills are still doing their job. Your blood flow is fine, but your support muscles still aren't engaging, so the blood leaks back out anyway. Testosterone therapy. Unless you're clinically low testosterone, we're talking under 300 nanogs per deciliter, adding more testosterone isn't going to fix weak pelvic floor muscles. Testosterone is important for libido and overall vitality, but it doesn't directly control whether these specific muscles contract during an erection. Supplements like Larginine, citrine, or horny goat. These can all help with blood flow. They boost nitric oxide production, which is great. But again, none of them activate your support muscles. You've been addressing half the equation, getting blood in, but ignoring the other half, which is keeping it in. You haven't been doing anything wrong. You've just been focused on the wrong part of the process. I had a 62-year-old patient who came to me after spending over $3,000 on supplements over 2 years. Every bottle that promised a miracle, he bought it. Within the first week of learning this pelvic floor activation technique, he looked at me during his follow-up and said, "Dr. Romano, it's like someone flipped a switch. Why didn't anyone tell me this sooner? I see that reaction all the time in my practice, and it never gets old. So now you understand what's happening. Blood flows in just fine, but your support muscles aren't trapping it. That's the problem. And now, before I give you the exact technique, I need to show you the mistake that's been costing you your hardness. Because if you don't understand this mistake, you'll keep repeating it and the technique won't work. The first mistake is you focusing 100% on arousal and blood flow. You think about stimulation. You think about sexy thoughts. You think about trying to get excited and get blood flowing. You focus entirely on stage 1, the fill, but you completely ignore stage 2, the lock. You never consciously activate the muscles that trap the blood. So, blood rushes in beautifully, but then it just leaks right back out, and within a minute or two, you're soft again. The second mistake is timing. Most men wait until they're already aroused to hope their body will respond. They're in the moment, things are happening, and they're just hoping everything works automatically like it used to. But by then, it's too late to prime those muscles. They need to be activated before arousal kicks in, not during. The third mistake is the automatic assumption. Your brain still assumes these muscles work on their own, the way they did when you are 25. But they don't, not anymore. Not without deliberate activation. And then there's the performance anxiety loop. And this makes everything worse. You start worrying. What if it happens again? What if I can't perform? That worry creates tension in your body. Your muscles tighten. Your blood vessels constrict slightly. Circulation gets restricted. You lose your hardness. And then you worry even more. It becomes a vicious cycle. But here's the beautiful part. When you pre-activate these support muscles before intimacy even begins, you bypass that entire anxiety spiral. You walk into the moment knowing your body is primed and ready. You're not hoping it works. You know it will. That confidence alone changes everything. All right, gentlemen, here's the technique that changes everything. This is simple. It's effective. And when you do it correctly, you're going to feel the difference immediately. This takes 30 to 60 seconds. You do it before intimacy, not during, not after, before. You're going to deliberately wake up those support muscles and prime them to do their job. Think of it like warming up before a workout. You're getting the muscles ready to perform when you need them. Let me walk you through this step by step. Step 1, locate the muscle group. Sit comfortably in a chair or lie on your back with your knees slightly bent and your feet flat on the floor. Now imagine you're trying to stop urinating midstream. That squeezing, lifting sensation you feel, that's your pelvic floor muscles contracting. You should feel this contraction at the base of your penis and in your perineum. That's the area between your testicles and your anus. If you want, you can place your fingertips gently at the base of your penis. When you contract, you'll feel the tissue firm up slightly under your fingers. That's the area we're targeting. Now here's what not to do. Don't clench your buttocks. Don't tighten your abs. Don't squeeze your thighs. Keep all of those muscles relaxed. We're isolating the pelvic floor only. This is important because if you're tensing your whole body, you're not effectively targeting the right muscles. Step 2, the contraction. Once you've located those muscles, contract them firmly. Imagine you're pulling everything up and inward like you're trying to lift your pelvic floor toward your belly button. You should feel a distinct tightening at the base. Hold that contraction for 3 full seconds. Count slowly in your head. 1, 1, 2, 100, 3, 100, and keep breathing normally. Don't hold your breath. Just breathe naturally while maintaining the contraction. Step 3, the release. After 3 seconds, release the contraction completely. Let everything relax fully for 2 seconds. Don't rush this. The relaxation phase is just as important as the contraction phase because it allows blood to flow back into the muscles and prepares them for the next contraction. Step 4, the repetition. Now repeat the cycle. Contract for 3 seconds. Release for 2 seconds. Do this 8 to 10 times in a row. The entire sequence takes about 40 to 50 seconds. As you're doing this, focus on the quality of each contraction, not just the number. You want firm, deliberate contractions where you really feel those muscles working. Don't just go through the motions. Engage intentionally. Step 5, the rest phase. After your last repetition, rest for 10 to 15 seconds. Let everything fully relax. Take 2 or 3 deep breaths. Let your body settle. Now, here's how you know it worked. You should feel a warm, slightly pumped sensation in that area. It's subtle, but it's there. Almost like those muscles are awake and ready. That's exactly what you want. That feeling tells you the muscles are primed. So what just happened? Here's what you did. You sent fresh oxygen-rich blood to those support muscles. You activated the nerve pathways that control them. You primed them to respond quickly and powerfully when arousal hits. When you get aroused 5 to 10 minutes later, those muscles are going to contract automatically. But now, they're ready. They've been activated. They'll trap blood immediately and firmly. Your erection will feel denser, heavier, more substantial. It's like the difference between a loose door hinge and a tight one. Everything just works better when the mechanism is primed. Now let's talk about timing. When should you do this? Option 1, right before intimacy. 50 to 10 minutes beforehand. Go to the bathroom. Take a moment. Do the activation sequence. Then rejoin your partner. By the time things get started, your muscles are primed and ready. Option 2, earlier in the day. If you anticipate intimacy that evening, you can do this activation an hour or 2 ahead of time. The priming effect lasts for several hours. Option 3, daily practice. Even on days when intimacy isn't planned, do this once a day. Morning or evening doesn't matter. Consistency builds long-term strength. Over time, those muscles will start responding more automatically, even without the pre-activation ritual. And here's an advanced variation for those of you who practice this for a few weeks and want to take it to the next level. Once this feels natural and you've built some baseline strength on your last repetition, instead of holding for 3 seconds, hold the contraction for a full 10 seconds. This builds maximum endurance and gives you even more control over time. Don't worry if this feels a little awkward or unfamiliar at first. That's completely normal. These are muscles you probably haven't consciously controlled in decades, but I promise you this becomes second nature quickly. Within a week, you'll be able to do this without even thinking about it and the results. Let's talk about what you can realistically expect because I want to be completely honest with you about the timeline. Most men notice a difference the very first time they use this technique. Not days later, not weeks later. The same day, your erection feels heavier, denser, more substantial. It doesn't deflate the moment stimulation stops. You can shift positions, pause for a moment, even have a brief conversation, and your hardness stays. You feel more locked in, more secure. And that feeling alone, that confidence that your body is cooperating, changes the entire experience. By the end of the first week, here's what typically happens. You start trusting your body again. There's less anxiety before intimacy because you know you have a tool that works. You'll notice more spontaneous arousal throughout the day. You might catch yourself feeling desire at random moments, which maybe hasn't happened in years. And your morning erections, those are going to become firmer and more frequent. Morning erections are actually a great indicator of pelvic floor health. And when you strengthen these muscles, those morning signals come back strong. By the second, third, and fourth week, something remarkable starts happening. Those support muscles begin responding more automatically. You might not even need to do the pre-activation ritual every single time because the muscles are building baseline strength and muscle memory. Your overall firmness improves across the board. You last longer during intimacy without consciously trying. And your partner is going to notice. Trust me, they do. They might not say anything directly, but you'll see it in the way they respond to you, the way they initiate more, often the renewed closeness between you. After 2 to 3 months, this becomes completely second nature. Your pelvic floor is genuinely retrained. You feel like you did 10 to 15 years ago. Intimacy stops being something you worry about and becomes something you genuinely look forward to again. That shift from anxiety to anticipation is life-changing. Let me tell you about one of my patients. He was 67 years old, and he'd completely given up on this part of his life. He genuinely believed that chapter was closed. His wife had accepted it too. She assumed he'd just lost interest. And honestly, she'd made peace with it. After 6 weeks of practicing this activation technique consistently, he came back for his follow-up appointment, and I could see the difference in him before he even said a word. He looked lighter, more confident. He told me, "Dr. Romano, I feel 45 again." My wife asked what medication I was taking. When I told her it was just a 30-second on exercise, she didn't believe me at first. They're closer now than they've been in years. Not just physically, emotionally, because when intimacy is taken off the table, it creates distance in ways you don't even realize until it comes back. That's the kind of transformation I see regularly in my practice, and it's exactly why I'm so passionate about teaching this. Now here's what surprises most men. The benefits go beyond erections. You're strengthening your entire pelvic floor, and that affects multiple systems. You'll notice better bladder control throughout the day, fewer sudden urges, fewer nighttime bathroom trips. A lot of men tell me they're sleeping through the night again, which alone improves energy and mood. You'll experience stronger, more intense orgasms and ejaculations. The same muscles that trap blood during an erection also contract during orgasm. When they're stronger, those contractions are more powerful and the sensation is significantly more intense. You're also supporting better overall prostate health. A strong, well-functioning pelvic floor reduces inflammation and promotes healthy circulation in that entire region. And finally, and this might be the most important part, your confidence carries into every area of your life. When you feel capable and strong in this most intimate part of your life, it radiates outward. You stand taller. You engage more. You stop avoiding it. You feel like yourself again. All right, so here's what I want you to do right now today. Try this technique once just to feel it. Sit down. Find those muscles. Do 8 to 10 contractions. Feel them wake up. Feel that warm, prime sensation. Get familiar with what it feels like when those muscles are activated. Then before your next intimate moment, whether that's tonight, this weekend, or next week, do the full activation sequence again and pay close attention to what happens. I think you're going to be genuinely surprised in the best way possible. Now, drop a comment and tell me how long has this been an issue for you. I read every single comment, and your answers genuinely help me to create content that serves you better. Finally, if you know another man over 50 who's dealing with this, please send him this video. Most men suffer in silence because they're embarrassed or ashamed, but this information can genuinely change someone's life. I'm Dr. Mika Hayashi, and I'll see you in the